Hello, Miriam Castanho Bollinger here, and today I want to show you another way to use your Scallop Topper Tag punch to make, rather than a card or just a simple tag, a way to make a cute little box to put a treat or a gift or anything that deserve a nice little packaging. So let's go ahead and get started. It's a simple project and I hope you enjoy. For this project we're going to use the punch and also our simple scored tool. We're going to have to run the scores at 1 1/4 with the paper lengthwise, and then also 4 1/4. We're going to flip the paper over, and then we're going to have to do a few more scores at 1 1/4, 3 3/4, 5 inches, and 7 1/2 inches. Once we are done with this scoring, we are done with this tool as well. So let me get that aside, and let's see now what we have. I'm not sure if you can see the scores properly, but I have here, 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 and then those two running this way. And as you can see, on the bottom part here, we have a little bit more than on the top. So this is going to be the front of the box with the detail, and this is going to be this part here. So it's a little bit different size, but it will work out anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and give the creases, make the creases for the project. Make it nice and crisp so we can all see very well where the creases are when we start cutting it and punching using our new punch. We'll be able to see exactly what we are doing. So if you remember seeing my other project, again, this is 2 inches. You cannot fit a paper like that on the tracks, but you can fit it through. So we're going to do just that. We're going to fit it through, and we're going to use the scores, both of the score lines, to center with this part. So let's see how does that look like. Make sure you push all the way to the back, otherwise you may have just half of the punch. And I hope you can verify here that you have one score going on here and one score going on here. So I'm just eyeballing and making sure that this distance here between the edge of the punch and the score line about the same. So it's not a precise measurement. Is essentially that I'm just eyeballing it, and I'm gonna punch, and I have the first punch done, and this is gonna all be cut it off, so don't worry too much about it now. And on the sides on my sample box, I did not cut it with that, but I like the idea, and also makes for an easier closure. So we're gonna, again, the same thing, we're gonna line up the scores, those two score lines, with the punch itself, with the edge of the punch, and make sure we have about the same distance. And always make sure you push all the way to the back. And we're going to move it and line up again the scores here and here, and we're going to try to get it to as close as a distance, even distance on this side and on that side. So I think I have about good. And I can look on this side here too if I wanted to. See, I have the scores here, and I feel like I am quite centered in there. And then I'm gonna flip it and do the same thing on the opposite side. So we'll have the flaps that go to close the box. So let's center again. We can look here for verification a little bit. Let's see, we have one here, another one here. You can go a little bit more this way, and it's pushed all the way back, and we are done with the punch. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of the pieces there on the side. Now we have a kind of odd shape looking, but that's okay because we're gonna cut this off. But before we do that, we're gonna make the other cuts so we can assemble the box. So we're gonna have to cut those flaps And we're going to make on both sides before we can finish making the cuts and assemble the box. I'm cutting, again, I'm cutting out on the lines that were scored earlier, so we can make an easier assembly. And for these little flaps here, we're going to remove these little bitty parts here. This so it's nice, and the flap is nice in one piece rather than have those on the sides here. And on this side as well. And one more. So it starts looking more like a box with flaps than just something odd. So on this one here, make sure you cut on the score all the way to where the punch would have gone through, but the punch can just go so far. And we're going to do the same thing on this side here and on the score line. Okay. So let's remove those little pieces out of the way. And now that's what you have. You have the 3 flaps and the body of the box. So if we are to just have an idea, this is how the box will close. Now, of course, I am not going to decorate the box. I just want you to have an idea what the technique is like to close the box and to secure it. I will, in this demonstration today, I'm using the snail adhesive, but I strongly recommend that if you're going to make this box and you're planning on putting a gift or something inside, use the sticky strip. It's a stronger adhesive. You will not have a problem with it coming apart or anything like that. Not that the snail is not a good adhesive, it's just that a box like that will be used in opening and close and whatnot. You want something stronger to make sure it's secured in place and doesn't fall if you put something heavier or something that requires a little bit sturdier box. You could use also glue, sticky glue, if you wanted to, but I like my sticky strip adhesive for my 3D projects. And this I'm doing here is just so when you close the box, you don't run into the problem of the side flaps being a little too big. So I like to give a little slant on it so it will close beautifully. So let's go ahead and apply some snail to the flaps so we can finish assembling the box. And again, like I said, decoration of it is a must, of course, but you can use stamps or some of your design series paper. Anything will look pretty, anything will look wonderful, because we are doing everything with lots of love today. And I'm going to finish this last flap, and I'm lining up with the edges as I go so it stays nice and flush. So the 2 side flaps, of course, go inside, and this on the outside. I did use a brad in here, and what I did is I closed it, I marked where it meets here, and then I put it. Now, alternatively, you can make the cuts differently, where rather than have these flaps on this side, you would have the flaps on this side. So this would be sturdier and would secure a little bit better the brad. So that's just something to keep in mind. You can also use a ribbon to secure the box. You could use a Velcro. You could tie a bow on the outside of the box. But it is a cute little box for any gift or a treat. With Easter around the corner, you can very easily put a treat for a place, a table place, or something like that. So I hope you have enjoyed this project, and I hope you will come back for more projects that I have coming up, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you very much for stopping by, and have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.